Hello, Fearless Fam. Welcome to another episode where we shed light on topics most likely to keep in the dark. This is your host, Chubby, and today's elephant is a level 5 elephant. Hope everyone is doing well. I know most people are off today. Hope you're enjoying your day off, hope you're staying warm because I know it's snowing in most places and some places are really cold. And if you're in the islands, then you're really toasty and warm, I hope. As you know, today's episode, we will be talking about the imposter syndrome. And yes, we still have the definition. So, yeah, that still hasn't, we're still going to be using the definition. But what is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome, also known as imposter phenomenon, is a psychological occurrence in which an individual doubts their skills, talent, or accomplishment and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Imposter syndrome involves feelings of self doubt and personal incompetence, and that persists despite your education. To counter these feelings, you might end up working harder and holding yourself to even higher standards. Fearless fam, how many of you have felt this way before? I would like to know. Leave your comments below, send me a DM. I want to hear all about it. Because discussing this further, and having open dialogue is always therapeutic. But let's continue. What causes imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is likely the result of multiple factors, including personality traits such as perfectionism, a family background. One theory is that imposter syndrome is rooted in families that value achievement above all else. Honestly, Fearless Fam, I only felt this once in my life, and it was with this podcast because I am the type of person that I make my own table. You know that saying or phrase to be invited to sit at the table with other people who value your opinion? Yeah, I'm the one making all the tables. I'm not going to wait for anyone to sit me at theirs. So basically, I haven't felt this feeling before because I know that I bring to the table is value. So doing this podcast, which was totally out of my comfort zone, was when I had that feeling. All the doubts honestly did start consuming my mind because I didn't know anything about this world. I didn't know other people who had podcasts. So I basically went into it blindly. And social media, of course, was not helping me feel better. I guess this is the only table I couldn't create, and that's how I felt in my mind. I do want to hear your stories because I am curious as to when did you figure out you were having or feeling imposter syndrome? Even though imposter syndrome is not an official diagnosis listed in the DSM, the Diagnosis and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, psychologists and others acknowledge that it's very real and specific form of intellectual self-doubt. Imposter feelings are generally accompanied by anxiety and often depression. Nevertheless, it can be debilitating and frustrating condition. Imposter syndrome can be scary to some people. But here are four ways to deal with imposter syndrome before it hinders your success. Try taking on new tasks more often. Don't keep your knowledge to yourself. Don't compare yourself with other people. If you're feeling like an imposter, try asking for help. I hope this helps you in some way. And I believe always talking to someone helps you because you then get to get out of your head, those thoughts that are making you feel this way. And you're able to obviously share with someone, and they're able to change your perspective in a way because you're letting it all out and you're like explaining yourself. I am feeling this way, and talking to somebody else who's not in your head, who's not seeing it from your perspective, might help you realize, oh wait, again, it's just in my head, it's just me. I do belong at this table that I created. I do belong here. This is my people, right? Like that type of feeling. But I do have quotes. I believe this episode deserves some quotes because having this feeling that you don't belong or that you are a fraud in a sense, like I'm a writer. Obviously, I write differently, but that's one of the things that you can't do. Compare yourself to other writers. Everybody's different, and I feel and I believe that there is space for everyone. I do believe that everyone contributes something different in their own way. If you're a writer, a photographer, if you're in the arts, I feel like there's space for everyone. Everyone has a space, and I truly believe that. I wish more people did believe that. Yes, there's two photographers, but they both bring different things. Yes, there's multiple writers, but they all bring different things to the table. And instead of comparing yourself to that person, just acknowledge, hey, oh, okay, they're different than I am. Not that they're better, that they're just different. And that's beautiful. But okay, here are the quotes. It's not what you are that holds you back. It's what you think you are not. Dennis Waitley. And this beautiful quote by Michelle Obama. I still have a little imposter syndrome. It doesn't go away. That feeling that you shouldn't take me that seriously, what do I know? I share that with you because we all have doubts in our abilities, about our power and what power is. And our last quote, be humble. Not knowing something doesn't make you a fraud, it makes you a student. Marie Forleo. But it's true though. That's the whole thing about the imposter syndrome too. That certain people will not take you seriously because they're like, for example, when you are new at something, you're a new photographer, or like, for example, me, my first book, I feel personally that it was horrible. But everybody that I know have mentioned, oh my God, I love your first book. Even though physically I feel like my book was not what I wanted it to be, but the poems themselves were what I wanted them to be. You get it? And I feel like I wasn't, I didn't belong, in a sense. But the actual imposter syndrome feeling was not prevalent then. I just didn't like the aesthetic of it, But that is something similar to the experience, but I always say that comparing yourself to other people is the first mistake. Like, yes, you can take inspiration from other people to be better and maybe even adapt certain things to your life, whether that is on your profession, personal life, or any part of your life. But comparing yourself, making it seem like that person is better than you, is a struggle. Because honestly, we do not know what that other person is feeling either. They too might be experiencing imposter syndrome. And that's the thing. We don't know who's just faking it to make it, right? Like, okay, I'm good, here I am, but every day they're struggling with a feeling of, do I belong here? Am I good enough? Like, will they take me seriously? And mind you, women have that in the industry. Like, for example, in comedy, they're not gonna take women seriously at their craft because they're like, they're women are not funny, right? We heard that before. Black women, any woman like holding position of power, they tend not to take them serious. They're like, oh, this is a joke, right? So that does form imposter syndrome. That does make you feel like no one's gonna take me seriously because of X, Y, and Z. Do I even belong here? And again, talking about your feelings about having this imposter syndrome feeling will make you, first of all, obviously you're not alone, but second of all, that it is in your head, that you cannot let external factors negate the fact that you do belong there. Your accomplishments have gotten you that far. And here's one of my quotes: if you're not invited to the table, then create your own. Sometimes you will not be everyone's cup of tea. And that's perfectly fine. Yes, that sometimes creates this imposter syndrome and makes it feel like it's validating that, but honestly, I don't think it should. Again, you will not be everyone's cup of tea. So therefore, that table is not yours. There will be people out there that will value you and your work and not make you feel like you're not supposed to be there. And you will not have that feeling either, because sometimes it is all about community. It is all about the people that don't think are better than you. You know, everybody is in the same playing field sometimes, and it's like, okay, great, I'm here. You know, Fearless fam, I hope you enjoy this episode. I know it was filled with a lot of information, and it might create some feelings about, probably your own feelings about imposter syndrome. But just remember, you're not alone. You can always talk to someone about your feelings. You can always reach out to us, DM us, leave a comment, and obviously, I will answer. I will gladly talk and have a conversation about imposter syndrome or anything in reality. Um, I hope you're having a lovely weekend. To those that are working today, hope is going smoothly and that you are safe and healthy. Please remember to like this video, share if you feel like it was helpful, and to subscribe to our YouTube and follow us on Instagram. Especially Instagram, because that's where I share all the information about upcoming events and all the resources I find. I am more active there because it's easy for me to actually navigate. I don't know how to navigate YouTube much, and yes, I try to learn, but it's like how much the capacity that I could hold for technology and for social media. You know what I mean? I do have a link tree on my Instagram that have all the links of all the things that I have talked about through all the episodes. So each link that is important will be there. All you have to do is just click on it and you'll see it. Again, thank you for watching or listening if you are, and for sharing this episode with someone if you have. It means a lot, because obviously you giving me a listen obviously helps my channel grow, and more people will be listening and watching, and I appreciate that. I will really like that. um Thank you so much, Fearless fam, for all your comments as well. And just remember what I said: if you're not invited to the table, then create your own. And like I always say, stay fearless, everyone.